This video is about the semicolon and when we can use semicolons in writing. Some of you, when you are redoing your papers, will notice that I have told you that you have a run-on sentence or perhaps a comma splice. So if you have a sentence and the sentence will look familiar, I brought my umbrella, it is not raining. If you wrote it like this, it is a run on sentence because you have a complete sentence here and a complete sentence here, and you just ran them together. Run ons have nothing to do with length, it has to do with kind of running a stop sign. So some of you may have had something like this where you have a comma, and this also does not solve the problem because you'll remember that I need to have, a conjunction like but, then it's okay. But if I don't have one and I don't want to add one, there's another thing that I can do. Oh, besides putting a period, I could put a period here, of course, but I can put a semicolon if they are very related to each other. I brought my umbrella. It is not raining. This is perfectly legal to do this to join two short sentences. Now, I don't want to have a whole paragraph where I do this in every sentence or even probably more than one in the same paragraph. He studied hard, he passed the test. Two complete sentences that ran together. I cannot fix it with a comma, but I can fix it with a semicolon. Now, notice this sentence. This is another time, and this doesn't happen very often at all, but it's good to know how to do this. Let's look at how confusing this sentence is. I need to buy fruit, apples, oranges, and pears, meat, hot dogs, steak, and chicken, and dairy, ice cream, milk, and sour cream. Notice that I have categories in here. I have fruit, I have meat, and I have sour cream. So they need to be different in their equality. So I need to buy fruit, and the fruit is going to be apples, oranges, and pears. And then notice meat is my next category. So I'm going to change this to a semicolon, and then I'm going to say I need to buy fruit. And I'm going to show you this one. I would really want to put a colon right here. I need to buy fruit, apples, oranges, and pears, meat, and then I can use this colon. The colon is what you do before a list, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Hot dogs, steak, and chicken. And then I want to buy dairy, which is a different category. So instead of the comma here, I'm going to use the semicolon, and then I'm going to use the commas within my group. So notice, and dairy, ice cream, milk, and sour cream. So notice the commas are within those. So this is a little bit more complicated, but it does come up sometimes if you're doing a scientific study and you have categories and subcategories. Sometimes you will need to use the semicolon and the commas, and the colon, I'm going ahead and tell you, I'm sort of jumping ahead with that. That's when you have a list. You can have a complete sentence with a colon and then a list after it. The other time when we use semicolons is with a specific kind of word. I can use the same sentence and I can add a word that still needs a semicolon because it's not a conjunction. It's not one of the seven that you just memorized. But if I do this, if I said, I brought my umbrella, however, it is not raining. And notice this word, however, gets a semicolon before it and a comma after it. These words are known as transitional expressions. Like for this one, I could say, he studied hard, therefore, he passed the test. Notice, however, kind of means but, and therefore kind of means so. These are more formal words that you can use when you're beginning a sentence. I've been telling some of you not to begin a sentence with however. I'm sorry, not to begin the sentence with but. So you can begin a sentence with however. Notice they're always kind of separate from the sentence. They sort of interrupt, but they do transition us from one idea to the next. And so transitional expressions, when they join two complete sentences, are going to get a semicolon. Here's a few of them. However, therefore, thus, next, for example, then, moreover. So they kind of interrupt. So if I'm just saying next or then, I'm going to use the semicolon to join my two complete sentences. Notice back on the punctuation pattern sheet, this is in-course documents. You can open this up. You're going to see you can have a complete sentence. The house burned to the ground, semicolon. The car was saved. You can have one of these words with a semicolon before it and a comma after it. If you hear children in the background, it's because my neighbor's kids are around their yard. You can have, so notice she didn't study for the test, semicolon, therefore she is likely to fail it. So as we go over these different punctuations, you'll find them on this list for commas and semicolons and conjunctions and what to use in each place. There's a quiz for you to take. There's a practice quiz for you to take first on semicolons and when to use them.